backstory of half a second for definitional purposes, that a heliostat is a version of a tracker, a two-axis tracker, like I'm demonstrating with my hand,
Yeah.
that follows the sun to reflect the sun up into a target, in this case a tower, roughly 4-story high tower. I've built trackers for PV panels that do the same thing but for the opposite purpose. They track the sun not for reflection but for collection directly into the PV panel. So you can either design the software that operates the motors for reflection or collection. So my system was for collection, their system is for reflection. But it's the same equipment. It takes the same 7 cubic yards of concrete to anchor them.
Okay.
The same two-axis motors.
I'm already plotting about how you could do this on top of a structure over a parking lot to utilize,
That's
lot
ideal.
yeah,
but
then you
anchoring
gotta
them
deal with
the anchoring. The problem is something that sticks up on a pole like that becomes a leverage point for high wind gusts.
Yeah.
And that becomes very expensive infrastructurally speaking.
Good point. Okay.
So the nice thing
when you
about
say PV, what do you mean?
photovoltaic, PV, photovoltaic. Those are basically
Voltaic.
diodes that convert photons into electron flow. So they're electric panels.
Got it. Okay, cool.
So I've been designing, building, installing PV panel arrays off grid since 2008. So I have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of leftover equipment. I've lost count, somewhere between 80 and 90 solar panels in storage. I have racking and connectors and inverters and various parts. So I probably already have in my possession roughly somewhere between 10 and 20% of the equipment needed to build the first prototype in my personal possession.
Okay.
So that's going to
10
help
to
a lot.
20%.
Yeah, I think so. I think what I'm probably going to build is roughly 30 to 38 kilowatt array that will power a water pump. And what that happens is you have two ponds. You have an upper pond and a lower pond. And I create what I would call a gravity water battery, where you pump the water up the hill, and then when the water runs back down the hill it goes through a water wheel. The water wheel powers the Syria reaction. Now here's the cool part.
How does the water power the Syria reaction?
It's basically a big resistor strip.
Oh, wait. Okay, now I'm seeing it. Yep. Yep.
Now here's the thing. The cerium oxide heliostat system licensed to Synhelion is running about 4.x%. They quibble a little bit on the last digit, but around 4% efficiency. Now that is competitive with today's biofuel technologies of soybean-derived oil and I think it was rapeseed oil. I have to check my notes, but there were two different crops that were about the same percentage-wise in terms of fiscal efficiency.
Fiscal efficiency.
In other words, dollars per gallon delivered, as opposed to like percentage.
Now, what is the fiscal efficiency rate of drilling oil? Do you know?
I don't, because it's so variable. It is so highly variable from one field to the other that I did not bother, because frankly, I'm not trying to compete with them. I'm trying to replace them and get rid of them.
Yeah.
So I'm
saying if this technology grows to an effect to where it could replace old technology, if I were to go to a panel of investors and other businessmates and blah blah, I could be like, hey, the fiscal efficiency rate is more than that of pre-existing technology.
It probably currently is
mental
not.
note, I need to look up the fiscal efficiency rate of various energy technologies.
Right,
So.
how expensive it is per gallon delivered, as opposed to photons to ergs or calories. Might be another way you describe the energy.
Okay.
So
the cerium oxide, it gains power through this water wheel technology. How does that translate into heat? Because my understanding
resistive strip.
is the resistance strip generates the heat, and the heat is what heats up the cerium oxide.
That's right.
To have the reduction of oxygen.
Basically a kiln.
It's basically a kiln.
Yeah, it's basically a kiln. In fact,
water-powered kiln.
It's a water-powered kiln, and here's the cool part: the reflected sun is what's called CSP, concentrated solar power, thermal power, and that's more efficient on the front side, on that initial first layer of energy conversion, right?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as an energy positive anything. Anybody who says, oh, well, it's not perfect because it's not energy positive. There is nothing humans have ever built in the universe that's energy positive. Every time you convert energy, when I eat these nuts and my stomach converts them into calories for this body, energy is lost in heat. When the sun hits a solar panel, either kind, energy is lost in heat. Every conversion, there's always loss. Always, always, always. So there's no such thing as an energy positive system. The only question is, well, how energy negative is it? So, the direct solar thermal is more efficient at that first layer where it first takes that sun and puts it into something.
Yeah.
It is more efficient there. However, it only works when the sun's up.
Yeah.
As soon as a cloud goes by, or maybe something goes wrong with one of the trackers, bam,
Yeah.
faceplant.
Yep.
So while they're beautiful, they really are beautiful.
Oh
They
yeah,
are
they're
fuck-
literally
they are
pyramids of
stunning.
light.
Yeah.
I love it. Like
They
the
are
Ivanpah
stunning.
plant, gorgeous. I was bewildered that they're using molten salts.
Yeah.
I'm like, you
Yeah.
could wait. Like I don't know what the steps are right now to like maybe convert the Ivanpah plant over to cerium oxide, and it might be kind of like evaluating what is the fiscal efficiency rate of cerium oxide versus molten salts. But that's another conversation.
Yeah, that is a really different conversation because a lot of the reasons the molten salt system even exists was various tax credits and grants and stuff. I mean, those are all drying up.
Yeah.
So, as to the future of them, who knows?
Yeah.
I know that I finally pried out of them the fact that their molten salt system, they were having a lot of trouble with it freezing up.
Freezing.
Yeah, because the molten salt, I don't remember the exact number, but I think it's something like 600 degrees Fahrenheit, it freezes.
Oh. Yeah.
It's some seriously hot salt. So, that means if anything causes your system to drop below that temperature, it just froze.
Yeah.
And now you got to run a resistive strip pipe heater. So, you lose all that energy you gained unfreezing the pipe.
Yeah.
And they weren't even going to admit it to me until I'd been bugging them for like 3 weeks, calling this secretary and that secretary. I was
yeah.
all over their network
Yeah.
until I finally reached a guy. I said, look, I've got a thermal imaging camera. I can just drive over there, climb a mountain, and verify anything you're saying. So you may as well just tell me the truth.
Yeah.
And then he finally admitted,
It's
yeah.
not like you're trying to hurt anyone. We're
Yeah,
just
I'm just
like
curious.
pursuing knowledge.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been on tours of many power plants. It's usually not so secret.
Yeah. Yeah.
But whatever, they're secretive for some. I don't know why they're secretive. They are though. Both of them, the Ivanpah and the Tonopah plant, were both very secretive.
Tonopah. That's not the one that closed down, is it?
Both of them have closed down for periods of time.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they're both still running now. But
Okay.
I haven't gone back since last year.
Yeah.
With my thermal camera, because you definitely know if it's running, because it's bright.
Yeah.
Even at night when it's not running, there's still so much leftover heat.
Okay.
It glows brightly.
All right. So then, for the two ponds, and the resistance strip for the cerium oxide, what are the next steps to building a prototype of that?
Well, I need to find somebody who will. I'm going to build two versions. It's going to be a little tiny version that fits in my car, just for
Okay.
demonstration purposes, and all it's
Okay.
going to do is make the synthetic gas.
Yeah.
And I will light it at the end with like a lighter, or maybe like a little mantle, something like that,
Yeah.
just to show them we are actually taking air and making a flammable gas.
Yes.
And it won't have a Fischer-Tropsch system or any of that.
Yeah.
That's just a demonstrator.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be plugged into somebody's wall socket at the Kiwanis Club or wherever I'm giving the demonstration.
Yeah.
The bigger full system, I need to find a property that's probably needs to be at least it needs to be long enough to accommodate at least a 10-foot drop in elevation, preferably a 40-foot to 60-foot drop in elevation with a creek and two beds or spaces I could dig two ponds.
Okay.
And I think I've found one in Virginia. I've talked to one of their lead power guys that just so happens to know me from other Burning Man regionals.
Wonderful.
So he knows me. I'm not just a complete mystery.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing is that my boss, that I learned all my solar knowledge from,
Yeah.
he actually built their solar thermal heating system for their hot water and their radiant floors and all that.
Oh, cool.
And so I have a bunch of leftover equipment that's exactly what they have.
Could I get in contact with your old boss? Would that be Yeah, mostly the asshole part, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind on that. I'm like,
Oh,
who else can I talk to about this?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He turned really super weird at the end. He tried to steal my fucking girlfriend. They drove down to Florida to my mom's house and tried to talk my mom into saying I was some kind of monster. And I'm like, yo, dudes, my mom knew me my whole life.
Yeah, what?
I don't think that's gonna work.
Crazy.
And of course it didn't work because she
Yeah.
knows me my whole life. You know, she picked up on the bullshit pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's a big bunch of bullshit.
I know that's some ridiculous, stupid, bad novel drama.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all, come on, be a little more creative. Yeah, come on, be more creative. Anywho's, I learned everything he knows. So, and there's other people that we could talk to.
Yeah. I'm just like trying to like speculate, like how do I build a network? How do I find support to build the prototypes? Because you know, I'm not expecting you to build a prototype or any of this all on your own. I'm like, what are ways that I can like be proactive in finding support to build these things, to build the prototype, to write it all out, to do it, to make it.
I appreciate that because I could
scale
kind of
it
croak
and
at any
everything.
time. It's sad, but I'm not having
Yeah,
a
that's
great
the
time.
reality of life.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised and happy you made it another year. We get to have more conversations, and I get to learn more about like the Synhelion patent development, and as well as also that if you, the two ponds,
It's technically,
I'm forgetting
called
the
a
word.
It's technically referred to as pumped water storage.
Pumped
And
water
I actually
storage.
got the inspiration from a nuclear power plant, the Lake Anna nuclear power plant in Virginia.
Yeah.
Built a big version of one of these in Bath County, Virginia. I can send you the link. And it's an impressive thing. It stores up energy at night from the nuke plant, and then in the morning when everybody turns everything on, it lets the water back down the hill and pushes energy into the grid.
Yeah.
And you could feed that from anything. It doesn't have to be the nuke plant. It could be anything feeding it power.
Yeah.
They're like source neutral. They don't care.
Yeah.
So, but our version is just going to be the same thing, just a smaller version. So what's cool about our version, the Hazy Sky edition, is it's a kiln, which is the laboratory standard for testing cerium oxide or other reactions. So not only is it not patented, it's a laboratory standard. So we're going to be making a variation on something that's well established. It's not cutting edge, and that's good because that means we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're just tweaking something that already exists.
Yeah.
And if we go to somebody who really knows their shit and we say, yeah, we're basically making a tubular kiln for cerium oxide reaction, if they're like used to doing this kind of stuff, they'll be like, oh yeah, I know about those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen those in laboratories. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, I know how to design one of those.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. It really is. I'm actually glad to have done some dug into that research as to like exactly how am I going to do this, and that's when I realized, oh wait, shit tons of people have already done this, just a slightly different way. All I have to do is tweak it. This is perfect.
Yeah.
It really is perfect. And so what we'll do is we'll just take a bank of solar panels that runs a pump. When the sun comes up, we don't even need a control circuit other than like a little amplifier, so that a capacitor basically stores up enough power for the surge current for the pump motor. So as the sun comes up, the capacitor stores up the energy. When it has enough, it discharges into the pump. It starts pumping. So stone simple. Bank of panels, capacitor, pump. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Super simple. Like anybody can build this. And the other cool thing is the panels don't have to match. So you could just basically grab whatever is laying around. The only thing you got to keep in mind with solar panels is that when they're in parallel, the voltages have to match. And when they're in series, the amperage has to match, not the voltage, right? So I could take a 36 volt panel and butt it up with a 62 volt panel and a 38 volt panel and a 42 volt panel, as long as they're all like around 7 amps or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, what you decide on whatever you got available.
Yeah.
And then if I do them the other way around, I just make sure that all the voltages match and the amperages don't matter.
Yeah.
So that way it enables people to just get whatever they can get their hands on. So I'm designing this system to be like, whatever you can get your hands on, here's how you do it. You know, because, they're sabotaging our economy. And that means two things. You're not going to have money to buy shit, and people are going to be losing shit. And if you can be in the right spot at the right time, like some company goes under and they're like taking stuff off the roof, I'm like, oh yeah, right here.
Yep, exactly.
So there's your opportunity to grab like leftover solar panels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well,
So
wonderful.
Beka panels, pump, water goes up the hill. As the water goes down the hill, it goes through a water wheel. The water wheel powers the cerium oxide reaction, which is attached, basically glued to a resistive strip in a tubular kiln, as per laboratory industry standards. And then you just throttle the airflow so that you keep the temperature right with like a basic butterfly valve. Nothing fancy there.
Yeah.
Every HVAC has got one of those.
Yeah.
You know, you can buy them at Home Depot for $6. Now I'm
Yeah,
designing all of
yeah.
this to be simple, cheap, easy.
That's what's
Right?
up.
And so,
That's punk as fuck.
Exactly, because
Solar punk!
absolutely. And the other cool
Solar
part
punk
about all this-
technology.
that's right. Yeah, like if you add a little water, it's literally going to be steampunk.
Literally though.
Steamy! That's fantastic. Thank you, Max.
Yes.
Thank you.
Max power.
That's right.
Yes.
Wonderful. Any closing notes?
Yeah. The more efficient we can make it, the more likely it is to be replicated as well as simple. So, I keep thinking about ways to make it more efficient because the heliostat system, while beautiful and unfortunately complicated, is more efficient on the front side than the PV panels. The other end of the process is more efficient on my system because it's insulated. Their system is not insulated. It's literally sticking up in the sky, just
Yeah.
losing heat like crazy.
Yeah.
And their system has to cycle, and it runs out of sun. The sun goes down. Right?
Yeah.
With my system, that water, as long as there's water in that upper pond, that water wheel keeps going. So if we size things correctly, it can run 24/7. That means no heat cycles. It just stays hot the whole time. So that saves energy
Yeah.
because it's not hot, cold.
Yeah,
That-
it's continuous.
Yeah, it just stays at a steady temperature. Another thing that does is it reduces maintenance needs because if you don't cycle, things don't crack apart from
Yeah.
expansion problems.
Yeah.
When you stick something 4 stories in the air and there's like a cold front comes through and then you know the sun goes down, all of a
Yeah.
sudden it goes from 1500 boom down to room temperature.
Yep.
Man, that's going to cause a lot of cracking and then maintenance repairs that our system won't suffer from. And the other thing is because we can insulate it, they've been making something called aerogel for the space shuttles going back into the 1970s. So I believe what we can do is come up with a homemade version of aerogel
Homemade aerogel.
and bury our system inside of a barrel of aerogel. That stuff is the most insulative thing any human has ever come up with, and also it's specifically designed for these temperatures because
Yeah.
it was designed for when the space shuttle is re-entering from outer space into the atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
So it's exactly what we need anyway,
Yeah,
both for
so
the temperature and the efficiency.
We would insulate the cerium redox chamber with aerogel.
Not redox chamber,
Well,
the reaction chamber.
the
Redox
reaction
is
chamber.
afterward.
The redox is after, but we would insulate the things and the stuff that we need to.
The hot spot. The
We
hot part,
insulate the hot part with
which
the
is the kill.
aerogel. The
We're
kill.
gonna insulate the kill.
Okay, cool.
Because the thing about insulation is it's only expensive when you lose the heat. If you can make a lot of heat but not lose it, it's no longer expensive.
Yeah.
It becomes efficient.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
for example, I have a 3,000 square foot 5-bedroom house, and you'd think that would cost a shit ton to heat. But because I know how to insulate a house correctly, I can heat my house for like $130 to $200 a month. The neighbor across the street, exact same design, same year built, everything. They spend $600 a month heating their house because it's not properly insulated.
Yep, and that's the power of insulation.
Exactly. See, that's where we're going to gain on the heliostat system.
Yeah.
Is on the other end of the process by
Yeah.
insulating the kiln.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Max. I appreciate that greatly.
Yeah.
And
I
in
guess
this
one other-
episode of Max Power.
one other closing thought.
Yes.
Which is the reason most kilns are not hyper insulated is because you're opening and closing it constantly. You're putting things into it.
is
We're
true.
only opening it once to put the resistive element with the cerium oxide into it once,
Yeah.
and maybe subsequent maintenance, but hopefully not very often.
This isn't your everyday kiln.
Right, it's not opening very often, so we
No.
can bury it in like 3 feet of insulation, and it's
Yeah.
okay because we're not opening it constantly.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
So that's
Awesome.
another advantage that doesn't happen in most
Aerogel.
kilns.
I just gotta get my hands on some aerogel. No big deal.
We'll have to make. We'll have to learn how to make it, but I think we can.
You know,
mean,
I
it's-
got friends in weird places.
There you go,
So,
and you know, and they've been making it since the 70s.
The 70s.
I'm pretty sure anything that's been made since the 70s can be handmade at this point. Or,
Yeah.
You know, DIY.
Yeah. DIY aerogel.
That's right.
Fuck
and this,
yeah.
And this is cutting edge technology, making basically electric fuels is what they're calling it, e-fuels. Making liquid fuel from electron flow is as cutting edge as PV panels were in the late 50s, early 60s. We
I
are
didn't
on
know
the
this.
cutting edge.
Yeah. Cutting edge science in this episode of Max Power.
That's right.